Welcome to Trippy Commentaries and our WWE Raw reactions. This is part 2. If you managed to skip part 1, go back and check that out because tonight's Raw, of course, was following last night's WWE Money in the Bank. So there were a lot of huge announcements. We saw John Cena come out with the title belts. They even showed his picture on the new WWE 2K15 game that we'll be getting. So there was a lot of things to talk about, including some matches being named, some championship matches for the Intercontinental and WWE titles. So definitely go back and check that out. We have a lot to get to here in part 2. I'm RJ, joined as always by C-Dub. Corey, we started off with Kofi Kingston versus Cesaro. Cesaro coming out with a new robe. These guys will be featured in a battle royal for the Intercontinental Championship. What did you think about this match? Because I do have to mention there was some controversy here. It did end during a commercial break. What was up with that?
Oh man, that was a WWE app exclusive. As you said, both these guys are going to be featured in that Intercontinental title battle royal at Battleground, where Kofi Kingston is actually, as he says, he's going to be looking to capture his 5th WWE Intercontinental Championship. We'll certainly see if that happens. We saw some great mat wrestling here to start out this match. I like the fact that Cesaro is sort of a hybrid. He can adapt to work with many different style wrestlers. Tonight he was great here as a powerhouse against the high flyer Kofi Kingston. Speaking of high flying, at one point we saw Kofi monkey flip Cesaro completely out of the ring and then hit a huge flip over the top rope to the floor on Cesaro. We saw a lot of really fast-paced action here, much like the opener with Rollins and Rob Van Dam. I think, RJ, it's definitely good to see these young guys stepping it up here week after week, don't you?
Yeah, definitely, especially because we've seen Kofi Kingston be much better in the past. Man, I can't even remember the last time he won a match before this one tonight where he somehow managed to defeat Cesaro. And what you have to say is a major upset. Is he maybe on the upswing here? I don't think so. Cesaro, on the other hand, is definitely on the upswing. Paul Heyman seems pretty confident that he's going to come through with this Intercontinental title, Corey.
Yeah, while Kofi did get the victory, of course, during the break as an app exclusive after reversing a Cesaro swing into a roll-up pinfall, that completely infuriated Cesaro, who beat Kofi down mercilessly after the match. Kofi attempted to counter it with a dive from the steps, running dive onto Cesaro, who then just uppercutted him in midair, grabbed him and tossed him over the announce table, crashing into Michael Cole and the barricade as well. Of course, that took Michael Cole out for a minute there. He would luckily recover. Kofi Kingston, though, was press slammed over the barricade into the aisle on the concrete. Cesaro went absolutely crazy. He definitely activated beast mode here. There was some fighting in the crowd. He was dragging Kofi along by his braids, just beating him from pillar to post. And actually at one point, to top it all off, turned Kofi Kingston for a flip with a massive clothesline. RJ, we have to guess here with both these guys gunning for the Intercontinental Championship in this big battle royal. After tonight's big beatdown by Cesaro, we have to expect to see more. I don't think Kofi Kingston is going to take this one and just tuck his tail and run, do you?
Not at all. I'm sure we'll see a rematch. I'm sure we'll see Cesaro come out on top. He was not able to pull off the Cesaro swing today, or at least he just refrained from doing so. I'm sure Kofi will fall victim to that Cesaro swing soon enough. And I'm sure we'll also see some other guys fall to Cesaro, as I think that they're definitely going to build him up before the big battle royal there. We saw him come out victorious in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I think that he certainly is the heavy favorite going into this one as well. The next, I guess you can call it a match we have to talk about. First of all, Damien Sandow came out this week dressed as Mr. McMahon himself, Vince McMahon. I thought he did a pretty good job with the Vince McMahon impression, which is not easy to do at all. And then we saw an appearance by the Great Khali. Corey, man, this was some crazy stuff here. And Great Khali is going to be in this Intercontinental Battle Royal as well now.
Yeah, we saw Sandow basically insert himself into the Battle Royal at Battleground. Of course, doing his Vince McMahon impression, which I thought was kind of funny. Stephanie McMahon appeared on the Titantron and scolded Damien Sandow for mocking her father, and said that tonight he was going to face another participant. Enter the Great Khali, who just basically came in and chopped Damien Sandow in the head one time, got the pinfall. It wasn't a great reaction from the crowd here, but I guess at first, whenever Vince's music played, there was.
Hell yeah!
I realized it was just Damien Sandow. I think one thing going forward in any battle royal for a guy of the size of Great Khali is that he's going to have a giant target on his back. Everybody's going to be looking to team up and eliminate him. Don't you think, RJ?
Yeah, most definitely. I don't think anybody expects him to come out with the title, but it's always fun to see him in battle royals. He likes to show up in those all the time, and it's good to see him in. Of course, I'll be there at Battleground, and he's definitely one of those guys I want to see up close. That's for damn sure. We have something huge to talk about next, Corey. We're kind of leading up to the return of a WWE superstar. They had a limo and everything, and it turned out to be The Miz. Highly disappointing, but it didn't end there because The Miz was overshadowed by another WWE superstar. Corey, what happened?
Well, as you said, there was a lot of hype. Triple H earlier in the day tweeted that we would see the return of a former WWE World Champion tonight on Raw. And it was fresh off of the set of the Marine 4, The Miz. He didn't get a great reaction. JBL actually crapped all over it on commentary, which was kind of funny, but in a way sort of sad as far as how the WWE is wasting their time with The Miz. And then, we saw him kind of just sing his own praises, playing the villain role here. Not a lot of crowd reaction until The Miz was interrupted by the return of Chris Jericho.
Yes.
Who came out to a huge ovation here. We heard Y2J chants for a solid minute straight from the Hartford crowd. The Miz went on to try to, top Jericho and say how he's better. And about midway through it, Jericho just nails him with the Codebreaker finisher and pretty well eliminated The Miz. I don't think anybody really cared about The Miz with Jericho showing up. He got a great reaction after the Codebreaker, and before he could get his signature "Welcome to Raw is Jericho" completely out of his mouth, he was interrupted and then surrounded by the Wyatt family. We saw Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt basically have a big stare down. I was up out of my seat whenever I saw it because this is such an awesome matchup. I mean, Jericho is a legend. Bray Wyatt is one of the youngest top superstars in the company right now. The Hartford crowd definitely agreed, RJ. We got our third "This is Awesome" chant of the night. Jericho is no slouch. He went right after Bray Wyatt but got beat down by Rowan and Harper. Wyatt got the upper hand and, of course, executed the Sister Abigail. RJ, do you think we could see for the first time ever at Battleground Chris Jericho versus Bray Wyatt?
Yes, Corey, I definitely think that is going down. This was an epic turn of events here because the one thing that I love most about the Wyatts is when they come in completely unexpected times. I was thinking, oh boy, here we go. We're probably going to have a face-off between The Miz and Chris Jericho, which we all want to see Chris Jericho back in action. Wasn't totally excited to see The Miz, of course. Maybe some other people like him more, not me. But then, out of nowhere, the Wyatts showed up. Awesome. We saw Chris Jericho fall to the Sister Abigail. And this is going to be an epic matchup. I was really hoping that Bray Wyatt would be a big part of Battleground. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, and I wanted to see him in a scenario where he could be featured one-on-one with another fighter, and I don't know if you can get a better fight than this, a non-title battle with Chris Jericho. Awesome. Huge fan favorite. I'm saying it right now. I'm picking Bray Wyatt. I do not think Chris Jericho will defeat the crazy madman at Battleground. but that's going to be an awesome fight. Corey, I can imagine you're huge fans of both fighters. You have to be excited for this one.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. I'm really hoping that, we do get to see Wyatt versus Jericho at Battleground. Not really sure who's going to get the upper hand, but there's one thing I can guarantee to anybody within the sound of my voice. At Battleground, if we do see Bray Wyatt and Jericho face off, it's going to be, if not the match of the night, one of the matches of the night. It's going to be an epic contest, two of the best, true legend in Chris Jericho, and as I said, one of the brightest young stars in the WWE right now in Bray Wyatt.
Wow, that's saying a lot considering how we got that fatal four-way matchup, Corey. We definitely will be talking about that a lot in the upcoming weeks. The next match we'll just mention Fandango with Dolph Ziggler against Dolph Ziggler. Shenanigans here, Summer Rae coming out, making out with Fandango and all that. Dolph Ziggler did get the victory here. He hit him with the zigzag when Fandango was turned around. Hopefully Dolph Ziggler can get some momentum here, Corey. He got a victory.
Yeah, we saw Summer Rae come out, and of course after last night, Fandango chose Layla as his girlfriend, as if anybody really cared. Summer Rae came out and made out with Dolph Ziggler, who then got the win with the zigzag, as you said, while Fandango was distracted and devastated. My question is, why put Dolph Ziggler in this feud? The guy is really talented. We've seen that in the past. This is bad booking, if you ask me. Get him out of it ASAP. Put this guy in the Intercontinental title battle royal and build him as a threat. What do you think, RJ?
Absolutely. We all want Dolph to, of course, start winning more. I feel like they put him in matches against guys who really aren't in positions to lose because Dolph Ziggler makes these guys look so good. But props to Ziggler. I know I misspoke and said Summer Rae made out with Fandango. I meant to say Dolph Ziggler. That's a huge score for Dolph, man. He might not be winning any titles, but that's pretty good for him, that's for sure. And at least this is a scenario where he can come out as the winner, and maybe this will lead to more victories. It was kind of notable that he came out with a stock WWE shirt today, which, of course is a change from his normal look. That's another thing I'd like them to change up, as I'm not a big fan of that shirt, the torn-up shirt. But let's quickly move on. We have a lot to get to still here. We already mentioned Goldust and Stardust victory over Ryback. They really need to change that up and start doing something new with those guys. Here's something huge, Corey. Paige came out, kind of gave a lackluster speech, and she was interrupted by another returning former champion, AJ Lee. She immediately challenged her in kind of a sneaky way. In fact, the same way that Paige got the championship from AJ Lee to begin with. It worked. AJ Lee ended up taking the title from Paige. Huge event here, which is pretty cool to see the Divas actually have a nice storyline going, especially one that involves Paige and now the returning AJ Lee. I expect this to be a Divas title match at Battleground. And it should be a good one. I'm looking forward to that. What about you, Corey?
Yeah, it seems like, if tonight was any indication, we saw some pretty good reactions. Of course, at first, as soon as AJ Lee came out, we heard huge CM Punk chants, and then more huge CM Punk chants as Paige was on the mic, kind of giving a little bit of a villainous promo there. She seemed to be playing the heel, or the evil role, rather than the traditional, hero role or good guy, babyface, whatever. It seemed like the CM Punk chants sort of threw Paige off of her mic game a bit.
Yeah.
Of course, as you said, AJ snuck right in the back door there and asked if the crowd wanted to see a title rematch right now. Paige agreed, and we saw AJ get the win with a roll-up out of nowhere to become the Divas champion for a second time. As I said, man, the crowd popped huge for this. It was a really good shocker segment. I liked seeing Paige going full-on villain here. AJ Lee, of course, is going to get great reactions as she is romantically associated with CM Punk in real life. So it definitely makes sense to see her here as the face. Yeah. RJ, I got to ask you, Paige is one of your favorites. Is this WWE pulling the plug on Paige's reign due to bad reactions? Or is this just, shifting the title over to someone like AJ Lee who gets a great reaction? Do you think going into Battleground that this could be the feud that saves the Divas division?
Absolutely, and it's finally a good storyline for Paige. As a huge Paige fan, I hate to see her lose the title, but it was definitely necessary. When we saw AJ Lee come out, we knew it was about to go down. It was good that AJ Lee took the title from her because she's deserving here. She's associated with CM Punk. She had the title for a long time, and it finally gives Paige a worthy foe. And as I mentioned, that's going to be a good title match. I think Paige will take it back eventually. It was just necessary for her to lose it, but I still think she is the best thing going in the Divas division there. I know that could be, she doesn't get the best reactions all the time, so that could be in dispute, but we'll see if that possibly improves with her feud with AJ Lee. That is sure to go down here for weeks to come. Let's go ahead and get into the main event here, C-Dub. Randy Orton teaming up with his bodyguard, Kane, against Cena and Roman Reigns. This was a pretty interesting match. I, wasn't too excited to see the actual victor. I didn't really care who's going to win, but it was just nice to see them all in the ring. I know Cena did get knocked out here eventually, which led to some crazy events. What happened in this match, Corey?
Well, we saw the 4 participants in the big main event at Battleground for the title face-off and tag team action here. Triple H was at ringside for this main event. We saw the typical "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" reaction for John. It was a little bit louder than usual, which is always good. I don't know about you, but I think this is dangerous territory here, putting Orton and Cena in another rivalry, in another matchup together. It seems that we've seen it so many times in the past. No matter what, I'm sick of seeing it. I don't want to see it. Hopefully Roman Reigns can spice up that little feud there a little bit. Speaking of Roman Reigns, we saw awesome reactions for him tonight. Every time he was in the match, a lot of high-impact action. It kind of rubbed off on everybody that everybody was getting good reactions. Roman Reigns avoided Kane's choke slam and got the hot tag to Cena, who kind of came in and cleaned house, hit the 5-knuckle shuffle onto Randy Orton, who escaped the attitude adjustment attempt, tagged Kane in. And then Cena hit Kane with the 5-knuckle shuffle, went for the AA on Kane. Orton hits the RKO out of nowhere. At that point, Roman Reigns and Randy Orton sort of brawled to the back. And then after John Cena was knocked to the outside, Kane used the ring steps on John Cena, of course getting disqualified, giving John Cena the victory with Roman Reigns by disqualification. At that point, RJ, we saw Triple H commanding Kane to finish him. Kane then picked him up, RJ, and gave him a tombstone, gave John Cena a tombstone, laid him out completely. We heard the crowd say "one more time." RJ, what do you think? One more time, or are you liking John Cena here?
I like him to hold on to the title and hopefully lose it in this upcoming Battleground event. That's for sure. I love that he's holding the title. I'm totally on board with that. I'm very happy about it. I was happy that he won that ladder match. But the only reason why I'm happy about that is because I want him to eventually lose it to Roman Reigns. I want Roman Reigns to take him out. I know right now they're kind of being put on the same team a little bit here in a couple different scenarios, but eventually I want to see Roman Reigns take that now. Will it be at this Battleground? That is definitely up in the air. A couple things I want to get to, because we saw, of course, John Cena knocked out by that tombstone. We saw Seth Rollins come out immediately, try to cash in that Money in the Bank contract with Cena, unconscious there on the mat. We knew what was going to happen. Dean Ambrose came out, knocked him out, put an end to that. And then as they went into the crowd to fight some more, which was a pretty epic event there, I thought that was awesome. The bell did not ring, so that did not officially start up, meaning Seth Rollins still has that contract. Then Kane was pissed off, so he grabbed the chair, came up to finish the job on John Cena, who was kind of coming back to there. And then out of nowhere, Roman Reigns came in and speared Kane to put an end to it. And then to finish off Raw, we saw an epic stare down between Roman Reigns and Triple H. And it could be foreshadowing Roman Reigns getting the title, And what would be even more epic would be if one day Roman Reigns faced off with Triple H himself. It was an awesome episode of Raw, guys. We have a lot more to get to in some weeks to come as we lead up to Battleground. There's going to be more storyline to come and more heat building up for these huge matches. Make sure to join us next week. Leave us your thoughts and definitely leave us your predictions on what you think is going to happen leading up to Battleground. I'm RJ for Corey. Thank you for dropping our knowledge. See you guys next week. Take us out, C-Dub.
Yeah, guys, thanks so much for joining us on another episode of Raw Reactions. As RJ said, we'll be here every week bringing you the latest in the WWE. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like, click that subscribe button up there, tell a friend, and as always, stay tuned and stay trippy.